Doctor, just a heads up. Later, our deputy dean will do some opening remarks before you start.
Okay, sure. I'm trying to share my slides. If you can see my slide, let me try again, boleh?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So you can see the slide.
Okay, thank you, Fatin. So, Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Welcome to Keeping Up with Students' Mental Health in Challenging Times, a program from Persatuan Bahasa Literasi dan Terjemahan or PBLT Society to discuss students' mental health. My name is Anis Parman. I am one of the organizing committee members at PBLT Society, and I will be serving as your moderator today. Before introducing our honored speaker, let me remind you of a few housekeeping rules. First, please make sure your microphone is on mute. Second, please do not interrupt the session. If you do have any questions, do type them out at Webex and YouTube chat box. Our committee will help collect all the questions. Your cooperation is highly appreciated. Also, all the participants are reminded that by the end of the talk, there will be another link for recording your attendance to earn my CSD and also a group photo shoot. You are highly encouraged to put on your smiles and virtual background that we have provided. This talk is being held live on Webex and is being live streamed on YouTube. So please do consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, which is School of Languages, Literacies and Translation. More programs like this will be held here soon. Before introducing our speaker, our Deputy Dean for Academics, Career and International Affairs of the School of Languages, Literacies and Translation, Mr. Azril Ali, will give his opening remarks. Mr. Azril?
Thank you very much, Miss Anis. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, everyone, especially to our speaker all the way from even though not here physically. So much for being here with us today. The topic being discussed especially is very, very important. I think for the past 2 years during the pandemic, you had a lot of issues, increasing issues when it comes to mental health among students. Even USM, we have had a lot of cases where, for example, students, that's one, all right, facing a lot of, we receive cases such as depression and so on and so forth. So this is very, very timely, even though we are moving into the endemic stage, but this issue has been happening for many, many years. All right, so I would like to say thank you so much to Dr. Azmawaty, all right, for willing to be with us this morning to speak about this. And also, of course, thank you to the PBLT, all right, the society, for organizing the event under the tutelage of Dr. Alabash. All right. As I've said just now, so hopefully everyone here will be able to listen to Dr. Azmawaty. All right, and hopefully you learn something from the session this morning, and if you have any issues in relation to mental immediately, all right, so that is very, very important. You have your academic advisor, you can let them know, you can let Dr. Abbas know, as he is the head of the English for Professionals program. You can let me know personally as well, all right, so we will try and help as much as possible. Okay, all right, so thank you so much for inviting me for today as well, and let's just continue with Dr. Azmawaty. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you very much, Anis.
Thank you, Mr. Azrin, for the opening remarks. So, continuing today's program, let me formally introduce our speaker today and a little bit of her profile. Dr. Azmawaty Binti Mohamad Nor a senior lecturer in the Department of Educational Psychology and Counselling in University of Malaya. She registered as a licensed counsellor in 2011 and had undergone training with the National Population and Family Development Board, Ministry of Women, Family, Community Development. Her researches were mostly on at-risk behaviors among adolescents and family. At present, she is currently involved in developing a prevention model for elementary school children. Recently, her team has completed developing a psychological inventory for MRSM students under the MARA grant, pre-COVID-19 related research, and currently developing a psychometric testing on e-learning among students in Malaysia and a psychometric testing on academic leadership. As an active researcher involving in numerous researches, she aspires to tap in the different areas to broaden her horizon and enhance the quality of teaching and learning. She has also been invited to speak on issues on mental health and adjustments during the COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Azmawati, how are you today?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm doing good. Thank you, Anis.
Okay. Good to know, Doctor. You look lovely as you always are. So you can continue with the talk today.
Okay, thank you so much. But before that, allow me to thank Dr. Ala Bash for contacting me, yeah, and Mr. Azril Ali, yeah. I think listening to you earlier, so to provide support to the students is actually very important. So, okay, hi fellow students, allow me to share my slides, yeah. I'm not quite used to Cisco because Webex, because we usually use Teams, but I'll try my best. All right, so I'm sure you can see the slides. I'm going to put it on slide mode. Okay, so the topic today is basically keeping up with students' mental health in challenging times. Yeah, but before that, I'm actually in Johor Bahru. I'm staying in a hotel, and next to me there's a construction. So I hope that it's not too noisy later. Yeah, but for now they have quietened down, so I'm glad. So yeah, when we talked about keeping up with students' mental health with challenging times, so this is the first slide that I intend to use. But I thought that I just want to delete it, and then no, I'm just going to put it in. So I thought if Anis, what do you see in this slide? What do you actually see in this slide?
I see images of books. I see music. I see paintings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good job. Anybody else? Fatin, do you want to try just one word? How do you describe the slide? Anybody? Or for that matter, anybody? You can interrupt. No worries. Okay, tak apalah. No interaction. So when I first saw this slide, I thought that hey, it's actually wonderful because they've got books, they've got this bulb, okay, and then this trigonometry kind of rulers and all that. So I thought this is related to, education. The next thing that I saw is it's so cluttered. It's so cluttered. It's just so messy, and I feel stressed looking at this slide particularly. So then I thought, hey, this could just be the start of my talk today at the beginning. And this is what I actually wanted to make all of you realize, that is how we perceive things. We could actually perceive things the first time when I saw it, hey, this is lovely, cartoon-like. And then the next round, when I saw it again, an hour later, I saw that, no, it's too messy. It's all about perspective. Yeah. So remember, I mentioned the word stress. Okay, but before that, just want to share with you that life is a journey. Yeah, life is a journey. It's a long, winding road like you see on the slide. My slide is moving, right, Anis? You can see the slide, right? So it's now showing the road, and you can see lots of, like I said, winding road and roadblocks maybe. And it could be, to some, it could be a pleasure being stuck in a jam. Like me, I find it very therapeutic because I stay in Nilai. Nilai is somewhere in Negeri Sembilan, okay? and I work in KL, in University of Malaya. So you could imagine that every morning when I go to work, what happened in Sungai Besi Toll Plaza. So I'm always stuck in the jam. Sometimes, like 2 days ago, I was stuck there with my boy because my son is also in Faculty of Law. So, and he was worried that he's going to be late for school, which he was. So I told him, that's why I told you to get up early so that we are not stuck in the jam. But, you know, remembering what happened then, I remember that he was very stressed up. But here I am enjoying the Raya song, enjoying the traffic. I can actually put on my makeup. I can actually sing and dance. Not dance lah, but move my body. Okay, according to the music during the jam. So in life, it is how you take things from your own perspective, how you look at things. Okay, you could actually feel, if you feel that it's a choice. If you want to be stressed, then you will choose that path. But if you're like me, okay lah, there's nothing I can do because 90% of things are probably that, probably I can just control 10%, that 90% I can't control, or vice versa. The 90% I can control, but what about the another 10% that I can't control? So jams are something that I can't control unless if I bring a loaf of bread and I can just put it on my bread. That's something different. So I'm just kidding. Okay, don't be too serious this morning, all right? Okay, so you can see there are so many roadblocks in life, and we have actually gone through 2 years of pandemic, and we have just gone through, we have just moved to a new, endemic phase. So I've actually written on endemic, yeah. So when we talk about transitioning, so we have actually gone through lots of transition in life too. Okay, remember, once upon a time when you lead a normal life. So what is a normal life? You go out without a mask. You go out without worrying that you know that you're going to be sick. You go out and you know that you can come back, without any worries that you're going to be, asked by the police that where are you going and all that. And the next that we know that, things have not been okay for us, for many of us. And I do remember that I experienced that on the onset of MCO 1.0. I remember I was in Nilai and my husband is in this hotel where I am today, okay, Holiday Villa. So he said that he's going back, he's going to take a flight. I said, no. That's when I remember feeling so anxious. And I'm a counselor. I'm a registered counselor. Okay, I felt so anxious. I called my son, Adam, before that he was in Pusat Asasi UITM near my house in Dengkil. So I told him, get the car, come back and go and buy beras, the necessary. You see, panic buying. Okay, I contribute to that a little maybe. And I drove to Utem to fetch my firstborn. And fortunately, my girl was already back from MRSM, and we drove all the way from Nilai, Melaka to Johor Bahru. And at that night, we went back to Nilai, reached home by 12:30. Okay, so that situation was not okay. And a lot of anxiety has been caused, but we managed. Look at what we have gone through. We managed through that phase. And now we are in an endemic phase where everything is more relaxed. And all of you are actually very fortunate in a way because you are still having online classes. But for this semester, it's wajib, it's compulsory that everybody has to be face to face. They have to come back to university. And they're worried about colleges and they have to find a place to stay, So it's like, again, transition. During pandemic, you already get used to it. And now endemic, where everything is more relaxed and you have to go back to campus. And I can see that most of my students are feeling, they're happy to see us. Well, we are happy to see them, but in a way, we're also anxious that, hey, don't come close. Make sure, I always tell them, make sure that even if you have the slightest headache, don't come to my class. Okay? So we were worried, all right? So this transition has caused a lot of anxiety in all of us, has caused stress, yeah? And we don't know which way to go, this way or that way. So this uncertainty during pandemic and then endemic and uncertain whether I can sense that some of my students now, because they have gotten used to online classes and they become manja tau. I'm sure my students are listening to me now. Okay, some of them says that they can't come because they're not feeling well and all that. So okay. And most of the time they still prefer online, which for counseling we can't, because we need to have face-to-face interactions. But this transition again makes you wary and probably makes you feel stressed. You feel like as if somebody, open up a plastic bag and you're stuck in that plastic bag. And when you're stuck, you put a plastic bag on your head, okay, over your head. How do you feel? You can't breathe. You feel, probably for some that have claustrophobic, so you felt that, hey, you panicked. So that's how we feel. Generally, remember, I too, as a counselor, experienced that. Yeah, I too, as a counselor, felt anxious. And what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong. We are all human beings. Okay, these are the normal feelings or emotions that you may feel. But one thing for sure, you need to validate it. So I'm going to talk about it later. Remember the word stress earlier? So what is the definition of stress? It's actually the physiological response to any demand for change. So when we talk about physiological response, most of us thought that stress is more onto emotions. It's actually affecting you physically. Yeah. So now, what's the difference between acute stress, chronic stress, and episodic acute stress? So acute stress is the normal kind of stress that you experience. Yeah. Remember when you say keeping up with the mental health of students during challenging times? So to most of us, this is our body's immediate reaction to any challenging situation. If you were to ask by Dr. Alahe Ani, tomorrow you and your classmates will be having quiz. I tell you, definitely today you will all feel stressed. Okay? Well, stress can be actually something that you truly enjoy. Somewhat frightening yet thrilling, like what I wrote here, like when you are in a roller coaster. Well, I don't find it thrilling anymore at my age. But once upon a time, it was. Now, watching my students, watching the young ones, the young adults, the adolescents going up rides, it makes me so nervous. Okay, that feeling. But I remember once upon a time when I was young, that's so enjoyable. So enjoy it while it lasts. Okay. So, well, this type of stress is normally will not cause any harm. However, okay, what we worry is if you do not know how to respond to it, okay, you do not know how to handle yourself, then it will become a chronic stress. Remember, acute stress, once quiz is done, you will be happy and you will no longer feel stressed. Okay, so once it's gone, so it's gone. Now, chronic stress is something that is developed from high stress level for an extended period of time. Anything that is more than 2 months, 3 months, it can actually turn into chronic stress. So it first started with stress, acute, and then if you do not know how to manage what we worry about, it will turn into chronic stress. And this is when your body experiences stress frequently and very intensively. When this happens, in our body, we are all powered with hormones, yeah? The good hormones, oxytocin, dopamine, dose of happiness. Okay, what is dose of happiness? It's not in the slide. I'm just going to share with you. D is dopamine, makes you feel good. O is oxytocin, where when you're sad, you want somebody to come and hug you. So do that. Okay. S, serotonin, and E, endorphin, by physical exercises. But one hormone that we don't want it to be, in our body far too long is cortisol, because it will block, and it causes cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so this is what we are concerned about. Yeah, and chronic stress in the long run, it will make you from stress and then anxiety first. Barulah dia turn into depression. Okay, and all that you can read on the slide. So now, what is episodic acute stress? So this is when you have frequent acute stress. This is usually what happened to many of us overthinking. Kejap ada, kejap tak ada, like biskut Oreo. Okay, so generally happen when we are worried about things that we suspect may happen. So you worry about the future. So that is why I would like to encourage most of us to be present, to feel, to be in this moment, enjoy the moment. Okay, because if you kept thinking about the future far too much, is good. I'm not saying that it's not good, because you need to have a goal. But if you're thinking about something that you worry that your mom will scream at you if you fail to get A, you worry about things, you worry about too many things in life. I sebut ni pun I worry. I become stressed. Okay, so this may actually results in what we call post-traumatic stress disorder. All right, so we worry about that. So try not to worry so much. We don't want to become a worrier, but we want to become a warrior. Okay, to self. Well, you may ask me the next question, are all stress bad? Dr. Aziz, no, tak adalah. Some stress is good and it's called you stress. Not when Anis is stressed, not when you are stressed, but you stress, all right? So it is a stress in our daily life that contains positive element. Like what? When you accomplish, when you get the results of your quiz, you get full marks. Although it was just, Dr. Ala probably just say, okay, now let's do quiz. But you get full marks, or probably, you get good results. Even if you pass, merely pass, but you're happy. Remember? Perception. Yeah? How you perceive things in life. If some of you may just be happy with a pass, why not? Okay? So, but we strive for excellence. Yeah? Okay, and this stress is something that, is a stress that contains, negative elements, and may result to symptoms that, causes anxiety. Right? So if you have that too much distress, so that's why we say we don't want to have distress, but we would like to have experience de-stress, DE, instead of distress. Faham eh? Okay. This is caused by the persistence of stress that does not resolve despite our best effort. So what do? You get support from Mr. Azriel. You get support. You ask and seek for help. So this is what we are trying to encourage. Help-seeking behavior. So some students, generally, most students will keep quiet. They'll be like, oh no, I can't do this. I am not going to ask my friend because I'm sure they're actually experiencing the same thing. So, no lah, tak nak susahkan orang. No, you need to actually seek help. Ask. Okay, just want to share with you. The thing why most of us are actually experiencing stress is because we do not communicate. We worry, the two things, communicate well, and we worry that our relationship will go sour. So no, communicate, okay, but communicate effectively, okay, and respectfully. Now, how do I move my slide? It cannot move pula. Okay, now. So these are the level of stress. You can look at the slide. You can see too little stress, under load, you're inactive, you feel demotivated. So it's like, malas lah, ala quiz je pun. So it's just 5%. Why bother? Because I've already scored 80%, already got A. There you go. You are demotivated. All right. So, and you are laid back. So, well, this is what we want to achieve. The one in yellow, optimum stress, which could increase your life performances and productivity. Okay, some consider it as a eustress. Remember, I told you that you need to do whatever that you need to do, you still need to do it. Whenever you face issues, I don't want to address it as problems. I usually say it and change it to issues. Okay, because problem ni, bila kita sebut problem, everybody will be so worried. Allah, problem is difficult to get out of the problem. But issues is always something that, hey, I can handle this. All right. So probably you can try and change that. Okay, how you look at issue, okay, not problems. So, but if you're actually doing well, but having too much stress could actually be overloaded. So if you ask me, Dr. Aziz, have you actually experienced exhaustion? Oh, yes. life as an academician. It's not just about teaching, it's about writing, research, consultancy. You need to find external grant, a lot of things. Okay, and you have to give back to community. Well, I enjoy this, don't get me wrong. Okay, and too much stress is overloaded, and you will actually go downwards, spiral downwards, and that will actually, if you do not know how to control yourself, take care of yourself, self-care, ini yang paling kita risaukan, burnout. So most of us at the workplace, okay, generally in Malaysia, in the workplace, they experience burnout, extreme stress. They break down. And so this is when you need support. So the effects of stress, like I said, the first thing that it will affect you, physical, behavior, emotional, cognitive. Okay, I'm actually going to talk about it in a bit. Now, emotions. Remember I told you that stress will affect physical, cognitive behavior and all that. So the first thing, what do you see? The first thing, you are sad, okay? Sad. So you are actually experiencing adjustment. You need to adjust. I am sure by next semester, if everything goes well for USM, probably, I'm not sure, but probably students will have to go, to classes like face-to-face, just like UM. For UM, it's compulsory this semester, but my faculty, we have actually started it because we are the pilot, okay? So we started it last 2 semesters and we're used to it, okay? So when you're actually transitioning, yes, Lee, I saw the emoticons, okay? So when you are going through, like for us, we're used to it, but when you first go through that transition, so you will feel stress. If you do not, but stress, and then you might feel anxiety, kebimbangan. Anxiety is also part of us, okay? When I say that, stress is part of you. Just need to know how to cope. Just need to know how to manage the emotions. I wouldn't want to say manage stress, but manage your emotions, okay? And anxiety is also part of you. Okay, if you do not feel anxious, trust me, you will just simply go out during pandemic, you go jogging, you go shopping without wearing a mask. But anxiety makes you feel that, hey, you have that fear that saves you, that still keeps you alive. Okay, so anxiety is good. However, if you do not know how to control that anxiety, kebimbangan yang melampau. Okay, so this is when what we worry about, it becoming anxiety disorder. Yeah, and when we talk about anxiety disorder, there's lots of illness or mental illness that's related to anxiety. So ada panic, ada high functioning anxiety, we have low functioning anxiety, we have social, we have GAD, generalized, so a lot of things. But I'm not going to go there, okay? That's probably another session if Anis and Dr. Ala invited me again. So now, depression. What is depression? Again, if you were to ask me last week, Dr. Aziz, are you experiencing depression? I might have it because of what happened to me last week. I have to go for audits, meeting. I have to go to classes. I'm actually teaching 5 subjects this semester. I'm supposed to finish my grant. I'm supposed to do lots of things. And in University of Malaya, just like USM, we need to publish in ISI or Scopus, okay, high index journal. A lot of things are going in my mind, and now we're actually doing PISA audit. So I may feel, moderate kind of depression because of what happened to me last week. So now, Anis, you know why I'm doing what I'm doing in Johor Bahru? JPO, to de-stress. Actually, no, I still have a meeting this afternoon. I'm here to actually sit down quietly and write. Yeah. So now, depression. This is what most of us are actually concerned about because you don't have lack of, you start, like antisocial, bukan antisocial, yeah, distancing yourself from people. You don't want to talk much, and at times what happened to that individual, they just start crying, bursting into crying, or they can actually, what we worry about is they can hide that suffering, appear as if they're okay, but they're not okay. All right. So now This is what I want all of you to remember, and I kept sharing with all my students. If you understand what your psychological makeup, well, I'm supposed to say that, hey, and everybody else here, do we know that you actually get up in the morning, you're already putting up your makeup? We already have a makeup. So that's what we call psychological makeup. And what is psychological makeup? It comprises of these three things. I always like to say it as PET in bahasa, pemikiran, emosi, or T is tingkah laku, or CAP. You know, like you get up in the morning and you decide whether you're actually going to drive a cab, as if imagine Grab car ke, or whatever car, taxi biasa ke. So how are you going to be driving you? Okay, that drives in you. So the first thing when you get up, CAP, so macam tadi PEP, pemikiran first, emosi dan tingkah laku. So now CAP, cognitive. It is what you think and how you think. Cognitively. Cognitive is all about thinking. And your way of thinking will actually affect how you feel. So kalau USM announce that, hey, all of you have to come back, don't worry, enjoy it. Because there's nothing you can do. Okay? It's beyond control. Okay? So just enjoy it, but take necessary action. So think about positive things. What are you going to do? Okay? And because, trust me, how you think will affect how you feel. Look at the picture. Okay? So what is a gentleman thinking? Okay, I'm not sure if that's a girl or a boy, but imagining, let's just be, think that it's a he, thinking about how to find money, put, food on the table, have to take care of the cat food, and now cat food is so expensive, and car broke down, and they have to go camping, alamak, banyaknya benda, and then at work, also, oh God, so stressful. Okay? If you think of things that way, worry, what will happen to you next? You'll feel sad. You will be, like you are in a cocoon. You do not know how to get out from that cocoon. Okay? Okay. So what we want to do is to transform ourselves into a butterfly. So you need to adjust or modify the way you think. We want to get rid of the irrational belief system. So when we talk about irrational, we want to delete the insinuor, IR, or we call it the engineer. IR kan refers to engineer kan? IR, okay. IR, the engineer of the mind. But this one is engineer yang nakal lah. So this engineer is actually disturbing you. So you want to get rid of that IR and change it into rational belief system. Yes, we have, every one of us face these issues. Okay, contoh kalau macam tak ada laptop, nak beli laptop, lepas tu macam mana nak find new accommodation and all that. If cat food is too expensive, you can't afford Royal Canin, probably you can just buy apa nama tu, Whiskas ke apa ke kan. And that will makes you feel, at least better, I can solve things. All this will be translated into your behavior. So you see, all this will be translated into your behavior. Kalau you overthink, you will feel worried and you feel sad. At times you feel angry and you will behave negatively. Alright? So kadang-kadang when you see people outside and you see that, and they scream at their child, I will usually go up and say, don't do that. They're just a small. But when I'm with my children, they'll be like, Mommy, stop it, Mommy. Don't save the world, don't save the world. Okay, but I will usually just say, it's okay, probably they're tired. But we know that all of us actually face issues, but how you actually deal with it. And the effects of this CAP, okay, your psychological makeup. So this is when, okay, now Anis knows me. But I probably lepas ni mungkin tak ingat Anis lah, minta maaf. Sebab ramai student. If you talk about Anis, I have 4th year student, Anis, 3rd year student, Anis first year. 2nd year je tak ada Anis. Okay? So now, I will probably, one day if I go to Penang next week and say if I bumped into Anis, this Anis from USM, and then Anis was actually waving to me, we were walking, on the road lah, tapi tepi jalan lah on the road kan kena langgar pula. Okay, lepas tu Anis was actually waving to me, and said, Dr. Aziz, it's me Anis, okay. And I just looked at her and said, okay, and then just looked away. how would that makes you feel? That would probably makes Anil feel, hey, what did I do? Did I do anything wrong? Did I say anything wrong during the talk? Or, did I send her wrong messages ke apa ke? So that is what we have. If you do not learn how to get rid of that IR, cognitively, that engineer, yang bad engineer tu, okay? And what will happen? Automated negative thoughts. All of us have that ants in us. So whether you want to have that, apa nak panggil, semut api ke semut whatever lah, but I call mine Charlie. Charlie angels. From the Charlie ants, Google Charlie ants. When it bites you, oh yo, it's so painful. But I changed that to my Charlie angels. Why? Because I do not want to have that automatic negative thoughts. Say is vice versa. I wave to Anis. Anis pun dah lupa siapa lah Dr. Azini. From where? I remember the name sounds familiar, but from where? So I pula wave kat dia. So I would probably sing this way. Okay, somebody say something? No? Okay, I would probably say, oh, maybe Anis did not wear her glasses. Are you wearing your glasses? Okay, good. Probably at that time, Anis tak pakai glass kot. So dia tak perasan. So I don't have to feel bad. Okay? Or probably she thinks that I'm actually saying hi to somebody behind her or behind, next to her. So a lot of things are going on. Okay, so yeah. So this is when you have these automated negative thoughts. Probably Anis tak pakai cermin mata, betul. Or probably she wear contact lens tapi sebelah ada, sebelah tak ada. You get what I'm saying? So why should we have that automated negative thoughts? Yang ini you need to train your thoughts, your cognitive, okay, thoughts. So that is why it's very important in the morning when you get up. Like today, I'm on leave. I can simply say, alamak, malasnya. I can just tell, Ani, sorry lah, last minute, can I change and pass you to my students? I've got students who are really excellent. I can do that, But I'm like, no, I'm not going to be affected by the Charlie ant, but I'm going to be with these Charlie angels, the 3 girls. So I'm so excited. Pukul 6 lebih ke 5 lebih, I've already text Anis, where is the background? Okay. All right, because I don't want to have that production of cortisol, too much of cortisol. Okay, so what do we need to do? Get rid of the bites. Take care of your cat. So is it okay for you to feel this way? Okay, is it okay for you? Because Aziz says that we need to be okay. We need to feel to not be angry. We need to be rational all the time. So is it okay? Yeah. So say, for example, if you're with your fellow colleagues, fellow friends, fellow students, and assignments, group assignments. I know, group assignments. Some students probably do not cooperate that much. Some students just contribute merely 5%. So there's always the superhero who wants to handle everything, and then that superhero is tired, So, and you felt upset, and you come to me and probably ask me, is it okay for me to feel angry? Is it okay for me to feel sedih because when I ask them to do work, they do it, and I felt responsible to do it? So is it okay if I leave them out and inform the lecturer? Am I bad? It's okay. Because again, remember, feelings is something that's present. Yeah, emotion is something much deeper. It's from your unconscious mind, and when you bring it up to, so that's a different Okay, but now feeling this way, there's nothing wrong with that. Go ahead. Who says that you can't be angry? So you can sing Selena Gomez song. Who says? I don't know the song. Anyway, so you can sing that song. So you can ask this question. You can feel angry. You can feel upset. You can cry. You can do whatever that you feel, you're feeling at that moment. However, remember this. Okay, it is not okay to be far too long in that feeling sadness, or what you call that self-defeating behavior. We don't want to do that. Okay, we don't want to have that self-defeating behavior. So you want to cry? I do the same thing too. Okay, when I remember that what happened bila yesterday? Oh, okay. When I feel that I was probably, when I was younger, probably when I scolded my son, and I thought that probably I'm too harsh. And then later that night when I go and see him, usually kalau mak ayah ni anak-anak tidur, dia akan pergi tau. Malam-malam masuk bilik and tengok and tatap wajah anak tu. You see, I look at my son and say, why did I do that? I felt so bad. But I know it's okay for me to be upset, but it is not okay for me to use harsh words, which I didn't, but just upset with him, and he was also upset with me. So what's wrong with that? But the next day, it is also okay to apologize to a person younger than you. It's nothing wrong. So is it okay for you to feel this way? It's okay. But you need to, remember, bring yourself up again. Please do not stay in that condition far too long, because what we are worried or concerned about is you will be feeling inferior. That's when you start comparing. Anis bagus lah, Anis moderator, Fatin is merely, doing things at the back, tak nampak. So you felt inferior. Actually yang kerja kat belakang tu lagi hebat sebenarnya, nak handle all this, because I don't know how to do all that. Okay, so if you feel negative, okay, for a moment, and then you feel sad, you feel upset, you feel angry, and then you bring yourself out, then you decided that, hey, I'm going to stop all this, I'm going to take charge of myself, I'm going to do self-care, I'm going to be okay. So that is when cognitively it will affect your emotions and then translate it into your behavior. Once all this is okay, you will realize that your physical health will be tip-top. So mental health consists of that three things, the CAP. Remember, kalau you all ingat benda tiga ni, you will be okay, insyaAllah. So once all three is okay, you tengok your physical health. You will tip-top. Okay. Vice versa. Alright. And talking about feeling positive all the time. So what we are concerned about is toxic positivity. When you tell yourself that, hey, I need to be strong, I need to be okay, I need to be... and you are faking it, you are being idealistic, you are not being your real self, that is more of a concern. Toxic positivity, because that will never happen. We are all human beings. So what do you see in this slide? You probably see you, a reptilian, a reptile. You is a frog. Oh, what I see this, although saya takut katak, but to me this is lovely because I love green. So this is lovely. It shows that how I could just relax by the sea, or even in this room, in bed, doing nothing, just relaxing. So you wish for that. So now, what is mental health? Mental health is actually very important. The three things that I told you. So those are the basics of mental health. It is very important. It's something that you need to look after. It's changeable, means you can be affected by your environment, okay? But you decide what you want, okay? You can have both. I've already explained to you positive and negative feelings. Again, you decide which path you want to go, because you see that journey, even that is a winding road, but in real life, you will come to a crossroad where you don't know where to go. Nak pergi straight ke, nak pergi kiri ke, nak pergi kanan ke. So you need to decide. So mental health is not a sign of weakness. If you feel sad, you feel that you do not do well in a presentation, okay? Yeah, you feel sad. It's not a sign of weakness. It means you are good because you realize that is probably kelemahan, that when I say weakness, it's not weakness that makes you feel inferior, but weakness that will push you to do better. Okay, so you realize that, hey, you need to do something about it. Okay, so that's wonderful. Mental health is not another term for mental illness. So please do not, use the word interchangeably. It's not. Mental health, mental well-being, okay. Okay. Mental illness, mental disorder is entirely a different thing. Okay, this is something, okay, when we talk about mental health, we want to see how your cognitive, your emotions and your behavior, we want to see the whole you function well during the day. We want to see whether you can function, whether you are fully functioning. So if you have negative thoughts, we want to actually modify that thinking. Okay, we want to modify that behavior. We want to help to move from negative emotions to something positive. So mental illness is something different, ya. Ini yang kita kata tadi, anxiety disorder, depression yang severe, okay, yang maybe that nothing can change in the sense of you want to actually, when you have a gathering, whatever that you do, they still don't want to come because they're already in that phase. So we need to help these people. And please, we are good at labeling people, which we need to stop doing it. So you need to understand that mental illness is not something that they want to. It could be genetic. Okay, it could be due to whatever that they have experienced during their childhood. Sama juga dengan mental health, but it's something that you can actually manage. But mental illness is something more serious. Okay, it's not about feeling good at all time. So again, how you think, how you feel will actually be translated into your behavior. Okay, so just like our physical health, our mental health can have the ups and downs. So why is it important? It is very important. Like I said, it's central to you. Okay, it makes you. Okay, you decide in life. Okay, for example, I remember my son, I hope he's not watching because he said that he wants to watch. Anyways, when he did not get Dean's List, 3.7, kan? So he was very upset. So when he came to us with that somber look and I asked him what happened. Muka mami pun serious. So I did not get the Dean's List. I just laughed. He was so shocked. So I just tried to, make things light. And then I laughed out loud. He said, "What's wrong, mommy? I thought you were going to be upset. I told you to strive for excellence. So in whatever you do, you strive for excellence. But if you have done all that, and nasib tidak menyebelahi anda, what can we do? Terima sahajalah." So, and he was so shocked, and that makes him realize that, in life, it's all about, doing whatever that you could, but you go all out and doing the best. But things just don't happen that way. Terimalah. Itu yang kita kata reda. Okay, reda, maafkan diri. Syukur that mami tak marah. Tak adalah, I'm not like that. Okay, anyway, ways to maintain mental health. Accept who you are. But jangan pula, okay, I memang malas, so I accept who I am. No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay? So when I talk about accepting who we are, so please remember this. Always when you want to talk to your friends who are feeling down, focus on strengths. Okay, do not focus on the weaknesses because they will be talking about their weaknesses. I cannot do this, I cannot do that. Okay, for you to even come and conduct the school. So you focuses on the strength, recognize the weakness, but like I said, let's not be too focused on that. Focus on strength because when you talk about their strength, they listen and talk slowly lah, softly. And when they listen, it makes them aware that, hey, I do have this. Sometimes they do not realize that they have that strength. And we have to always remember, you can never be a supermodel. You can never be that Albert Einstein, but you have your own capabilities, your own strength, your way of doing things. So just accept who you are. Jangan malu. Okay? Be active always. Be active, especially up here. Be active not by worrying. Be active about thinking of what can you do best. Or rather, I don't want to focus on best, but how can you approach things differently? Means how can you do things better? So, okay, that's mine. Mental gymnastic ni memang kena buat. So, by doing that, what can you do with that? Membaca. Membaca kan amalan mulia. So, be active physically, exercise. Why? Because you want to allow the endorphins to be released. Okay, I remember going up hiking. Okay, I'm already 40 plus lah kan, going up hiking. I go for a hike and then I realize, bestnya tak sakit kaki pun. Because endorphins released. But the next day, what happened? Sini sakit. But at that moment, I felt like I'm at the top of a mountain. mountain, man, Gunung Kinabalu. Padahal Bukit Melati je. Okay, so I feel good. And always do something that you like. Okay, shopping is something that all girls love to do. But remember, shopping can also be stressful bila you tengok bill credit card ke, bila nak belanja makan tak cukup, nak shopping for a bag. So be careful. So it could probably not something that's advisable. Be involved with activities that you like what you're doing now. Your guys are actually very active, and I like it when students do this because you're actually being trained. Good job, Dr. Allah. Macam my student pun lah. So we usually ask them to do lots of presentation or what do you call that, give back to the community. So this is wonderful. Be involved with activities that you like. When you go out there in the community, especially face-to-face interactions, so we do bring our students to Chowkit, the gelandangan, the hobos, so you can actually feel the pain, and then you will actually, orang kata apa, grateful. You'll be so grateful that, yeah, I'm still okay. But all this while, we usually feel that I'm not okay, I'm not good. But when you go out there to give back, then you feel good. Okay, inshallah. So connect with others. One thing about us, we are social being. Social. We like to socialize in the sense that, yeah, we have limits, we have personalities. That's extroverted, like me. I'm extrovert, tetapi it has a continuum atau spectrum, yeah. So means minimum up to the maximum. I'm probably in the middle. Meaning, say for example, if lots of people come to my house recently for Raya, and all of a sudden they were looking for me. You know where I went to? I went up to my room just to have a 1 minute. Okay, then I went back downstairs. So you need to understand that. Yeah, but we need to connect with others because this is when you see during COVID, the pandemic, lots of suicide cases. When I talk about connecting with others, I like it when Encik Azrael tadi mentioned that, please, if you need help, come to us. And I like that. Okay? Maintain healthy relationships with family members, friends, your teachers, your lecturers. Okay, whoever that you feel close to and that you can talk to. Now that you know me, you can always contact me. I've actually shared my FB and Instagram later on the last slide. You can always contact me, okay, personally. Give and contribute. When we talk about give, people always think that we need to buy gifts. We need to give, give in terms of monetary. No, you can give back to the community in terms of what you're doing now. Okay, sharing of knowledge. Okay. Do something nice for a person, okay? Like recently, because my students know they cannot give any gift to me, I memang tak accept gifts because once upon a time kita pun pernah susah, yeah. So I know how difficult it is to ask money from my parents to buy gifts. So I know how painful. So I don't need. So but what they did was they saw a plant kat dalam longkang tau. Keladi, and they know I love keladi. Masya Allah, they go and get it. So I was like, Masya Allah, what happened if there's a snake? Apa membebel lah Mami Azini. But what I'm trying to say is do something nice for a friend or stranger. Smile. That's the best sedekah that you can give. Appreciate what you have. Most of us do not appreciate what we have. The first thing when you get up in the morning, did you say thank God? Did you thank God? Did you even, say Alhamdulillah for the Muslims? Why do I say that? Because we are still breathing. Imagine those who are actually experiencing, in ICU for COVID, what they have to go through. We are in our own bed. They are in a hospital bed. Appreciate what you have. Have you actually, look out and look at the clouds? Did you do that? Okay. Have you actually called your mom and dad or even your siblings and say, hey, I love you, or thank you, mom and dad? I bet you if you say thank you to mom and dad now, right after this session, they'll be like, what happened? Are you okay? Buang tabiat ke? And of course, you can actually join a community group. And what else can you do? Take breaks. This is what I'm doing too. Although I'm having this talk and I'm going to have another meeting later, I still took a break. I took a day off just to be in a different setting. Okay. to make sure that at least I get sufficient sleep, because I know when I'm on leave, I don't feel guilty if I want to go Starbucks later. Right after this, I plan to go, just downstairs at the Starbucks, just enjoy that. I don't feel guilty. Okay, so make time to have fun. Okay, in the sense that go out there, bergelak ketawa lah, bersukaria lah, tapi jangan lupa assignment tu. Okay, otherwise nanti stress pula. And use time effectively, efficiently. Time is always not on our side, but time is constant. It's not about tak cukup masa. It's all about how you manage your time efficiently. And okay, this is what is so difficult for all of us to do. Ask for help. Okay, I'm sure Anis was actually worried. Dr. Aziz, slide dah siap ke? No, I'm just going to do it malam nanti, which was yesterday. I said, Dr. Aziz, sempat ke? I tak sempat because I've got audit meetings and ini. Don't worry. I told her not to worry. But I did ask for help. Where did I get help from? My student. I said, oh, do you have anything on stress? Tak? So they have a few slides, then I have mine, so we combine. So ask for help. And jangan malu nak ask for help. Okay? Ask for help when you are in trouble. Okay? Talk to someone. Well, I'm just kidding. Actually, I have the slide ready. Manis. Seek mental health services. When people talk about seeing a counselor or a psychologist, habislah, your friends will say, oh, Anis actually have mental issues lah. I saw that she's talking to Dr. Aziz the other day. Habislah, terus you label. Let's do this. Destigmatize mental health issues instead of labeling or creating this stereotyping. No, if you come and see us, it's just like chit chat because we want to help you to function in your daily activities. There's nothing wrong with seeking help. In fact, even if you want to go and see the psychiatrist, like most of my students are very open, go ahead. Okay, it's not that once you are already diagnosed with mental disorder, we're actually going to kick you out. No, but it's wonderful because you are seeking help. And that's the greatest gift that you can give to yourself. All right? Oh, that's it. Thank you so much. Awal pula 2-3 minit. Anis, maaf ya. All right, so I'm open to questions.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Okay, so now we move to the most awaited part, which is the Q&A session. So I've collected a few questions from students. So the first one is, what is the best way to approach someone having mental health, or what can we do to be a good listener to them?
Okay, best way to approach and how to become a good listener. Okay. Tuliskan lupa. Then it shows that you're not a good listener because you forget. All right. So the best way to approach somebody that you think may have mental health issues. Okay. So usually, I think the first thing that you could do is to listen. So I think this is when you can sing the Beyonce song pula lah kan. Listen. Okay, hari Jumaat kita menyanyi pula. So how to become a good listener is by conducting or what you call this active listening. So what is active listening? So bila orang bercakap, when somebody is telling their story, is their story. Okay, is their story. So you need to listen to them attentively. Do not interject. So what we usually do is we assume that we know. Okay, for example, if somebody says, hey, Anis, I'm angry. Oh, I know how you feel. Okay, no, wait and listen. Okay, I'm listening. Go ahead. Okay, this is what you need to say. And then when they have actually explained, then you can actually come back and ask, when you said that you're angry, what do you mean by you getting angry? Because Anis' definition of anger, and my definition of anger are different. So you need to understand that. So how does one define is different. Okay, worry. How does one define worry is different. Remember I told you there's a spectrum. So if you are given to scale 1 to 10, where is that anger level? Where are you? That thermometer, where are you? If you are at 10, wow, sangat marah ni. What if you are at 12? That's probably raging. That's probably different. Okay, so you need to be an attentive listener You need to be present for them. And if you could, we don't usually do advice. Yeah, we don't usually do advice. We ask questions. Okay, so for example, when you said that you're angry all the time, constantly, I will ask you this. Can you please define can you please tell me more about what causes you or what triggers you to be angry? Yeah. And then the question next is, how do you think people around you will react when they see that you behave, with this kind of behavior constantly? They probably say that all my friends, they distance themselves from me. And I will come back to him or her and ask, so how do you feel about that? Okay, what am I doing here? I'm actually making him or her aware of thoughts and feelings. Because once this is okay, then that can be translated into, apa dia Anis? Anis pula kena jawab quiz. Dia lupa. Dia tak dengar attentively. Behavior. It can be translated into your behavior. So remember, CAP, cognitive, affective, and behavior. And we also need to know what causes them to be, what are the trigger points. Okay? Okay, what are the trigger points? So best way to approach is to calmly ask. And sometimes people refuse to talk to you. They just don't want to share because they probably don't trust. Probably they think that's their own personal matters, too personal to share. Give them time. Don't, Anis, tell me lah. I'm your best friend. Please tell me. Please, jangan mendesak. Okay? That's like, if someone comes to me that way, I will feel more angry. Okay? You can probably say, okay, whenever you are ready, I'm always here for you. All right? So I'm always here for you. And always be empathetic. So show empathy. What is empathy as opposed to sympathy? Okay, sympathy, kenapa Farisha? Why are you sad? Okay, sympathy, when you are stuck in that feeling, bila orang tu sedih, you pun sedih. And you'll be like, oh, sedihnya. Ni siapa punya story ni? Whose story is this? Okay, so by empathy, you feel that someone's having that difficulties. You are actually experiencing that as if you are in their shoes. Okay, shoe in kind of experience. Okay, but remember, kasut ni dia berbau kan? Don't forget to get out of there because otherwise you feel pain. So yes, you want to help them, you want to feel how they feel, but you need to do self-care. So empathy is being there for them. Suara saya tiba-tiba dah jadi macam counselor pula. Sorry. Okay. All right, the training is there. So best way to approach is always show kindness and ask them if they are ready to talk about it. Don't push them. All right, and always be a good listener.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for answering the first question. So we have another question. Is it acceptable if students want to have a partner to help sustain their mental health because they can share problems and have a listener?
Okay. I think that's a very valid question and wonderful. Actually, acceptable to have a partner to have to help solve the issues of mental health. Okay, remember. So when we talk about mental health issues, it talks only about functioning in daily lives. Okay, remember that. So, but when we talk about mental illness, it's something that you can't do. Even I can't do. Although I'm actually trained, we can identify, but we need to actually refer them to psychologists or even psychiatrists. Because when we talk about anxiety disorder or depression, what we worry about, they might hurt themselves more because you are not trained. Okay. So usually what my students do is if they have, in fact, most of you could actually talk to the experts there. Or what my students did, they will actually refer to me and I will refer them to either the student affairs or PPUM. Okay, that's what we do. All right. So when we talk about, so I'm assuming, if I can assume, if I may assume, although in the actual situation, please do not assume, okay? Jangan assume ni tak bagus. But now I'm just assuming that this is mental health issues. All right. So when we talk about mental health issues, yeah, it's good to have somebody that you can fall back, that you can chit chat, that probably you can share your worries, your feelings, your thoughts. But you also have to remember that person, can they take it? If that person is trained, is different because they know how to empathize. Yang kita risaukan, they may act like a sponge pula. Segan ni anak-anak bahasa Inggeris ni. Nanti dia gelakkan Dr. Aziz. Sponge. Okay, it's like a sponge. Okay, buat lawak barulah bangun kan. Okay, sponge. When they absorb things. Okay, when you absorb things too much, and then siapa yang ada mental health issues pula? Depa yang ada mental health issues. So you need to be balanced lah. Okay, so it's good to actually go back and just chit chat with the counselor, because like I said, even counselor in USM, I think my colleague there, Dr. Yasmin Uthman, you can actually go and talk to her maybe, and you can go to your student affairs. They are experts, and don't worry. No, we're not going to judge you. It's all about chit chat, because what we want is for you to be okay, for you to function well, for you to strive excellent, okay, to do well in your studies and as a person lah. Yang itu sebenarnya. So good to have a friend. When say partner ni bahaya juga. I remember partner ni boyfriend ke, girlfriend ke, spouse ke. So however you define it. But it's good to have somebody that you can fall back. Yet, you still need to remember that sometimes I personally think that if somebody comes to me and just talk about, every time I meet up with a friend, for example, ini tidak berlaku, tetapi sekiranya ada, somebody comes to me and talk about problem. Padahal we said that we want to meet up to have coffee. And to me, coffee is always like, you chit-chat about things. Yeah, we do talk about things happening in life, but we want to talk about happy things. It's always about complaints. So what will happen to me? Counselor pun boleh pingsan. Okay, but again, we are trained. Okay, don't get me wrong. We are trained, so we know how to actually like Tai Chi lah. We know how to handle. But what about your partner or your friends? Okay, if they are not trained. So think about it. So I would like to encourage for you to actually, if it's just chit-chat biasa, okay. But if it's something that you feel that you need to talk to expert, go for it. Okay. Now people are more open to it. So jangan malu. Next question.
Okay. Next question is how to talk about mental health with your traditional thinking parents.
Okay, traditional thinking parents. Okay, traditional. I think this is even a topic that needs to be discussed, because sometimes, traditional parents, I remember being traditional, I remember my dad says, "Alah kakak, you don't have to become a doctor lah. I want to become a medical doctor, ya. Cik kakak pergi jadi cikgu lah." Tak apalah, sekarang ni saya jadi cikgu lah, tapi cikgu with doctor kat depan jadilah. Dua-dua dapat, Alhamdulillah. But these are the traditional thinking yang probably when somebody diagnosed with probably schizophrenia, schizophrenic, ya. And then the parents may think that ni gangguan jin ke, gangguan hantu ke. Okay, this is what we worry about, because I would like to suggest that it is, parents are these two important person in our life that we need to respect. Kita tak boleh tak hormat ibu ayah, itulah syurga kita at any point of time. However, sometimes it is difficult talking to our traditional parents that have traditional way of thinking. But I think that you can always try to to explain using empirical evidence. Maybe diorang pun tak faham. So what I do in my case, okay, for example, previously my own parent, if I may share, my own dad doesn't believe in COVID-19 kind of jab, okay, vaccine. Tapi dia bukan anti-vaxxer sebenarnya. He just don't understand. Okay, he's worried. So what I did was, slowly but surely, I took my time. And it's not a short time. It's a long period of time until all of us in our family got our jabs, and even my brothers and all them. And we are all, Alhamdulillah, we are all alive and kicking. So I went to my dad and say, "Ayah, janganlah takut. So come, let's do this." Okay. So that's what I did. So we have to actually prove to them. But like I said, you can always go to the expert. Okay, go to the expert. And when you talk about traditional parents thinking ni, like I said, probably the first thing they'll do is maybe they go to a shaman, or probably they don't believe in pergi doctor sebab dia ingat gangguan jin. So I think you have your rights to actually go to the doctors and find out more and try and solve your issues. Because like I said, do not ever be disrespectful. Okay, so just do your part. And remember, you need to take care of your own self. But if this question is actually referring to the parent themselves, yang ini you kena bersilat lah. Cara berkomunikasi yang berkesan, you need to actually learn the art of doing that. Okay? So, yeah. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, Doctor. I think you did. Okay, so from what I understand, you're saying basically like if you have traditional parents, you try to convince them over time and talk to them slowly, but not being disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I hope we answered that question. So another question we got is, for those without family or a stable household, study at home can be even more challenging to mental health. Apart from professional resources, what can such students do to maintain their mental health?
What was the first part again, Ani? Sorry.
For students without a family or a stable household, studying at home can be challenging to the mental health. Apart from professional resources, what can they do to maintain their mental health?
Okay. Again, students without family. So you are saying that you are staying on your own. I'm assuming that the parents are probably not around, or probably memang tiada ibu ayah, or probably parents are staying in a different state. And students who have not a stable household, in the sense that I'm not too sure. I'm trying to understand here. Students who have issues, the family is probably having issues, and probably the internet are not doing okay. So a lot of things here. But what I'm trying to say is, remember, I think most of us are actually fortunate to have a good, stable internet connection at home, because that could cause major disruptions in terms of learning and teaching and learning for all of us too. So I remember during the first onset of pandemic COVID-19, where we were all very concerned, and most of us complain that why the line is so slow, and then kata 100 Mbps, tengok 8 Mbps je. So this happens. But now I think we are getting used to it, and this is what we call resilience. So if you realize, most of us bounce back. Most of you, without you realizing that you actually have developed resilience. Why do I say that? Because it has been 2 years that you have coped with studying, distance learning, kan? Online learning. We have done that for 2 years. Yeah. And for 2 years, it's actually my son. So I'm just going to ignore his call because I'm in a talk. Okay. So for 2 years, we have actually done that, and we have been resilient. So to say that you are not, I think you have been coping, you are trying to cope. And again, it is how you find ways to manage. Okay. I think the first thing you said that without going to the professionals, you have your friends. You can talk about it. Like I said, I remember saying that most students do not want to burden their friends. You don't want to talk about it. They kept it within themselves. So when I actually talk about it in my class, so when I said that, hey, for example, Anis is actually having this issue, so probably let's discuss. And most of them have similar issues. So they talk about it, and when you share common issues, then you yourself could actually find ways on how best to do. For example, my own boy, when we had internet disruptions at home, so what they did was they went to Starbucks. Masa tu dah buka lah, they can actually go out. They went to Starbucks to actually learn online learning. Okay, but again, it is how you Because when we talk about emotions, yeah, emotion is something that you feel. Emotion is something that you need to deal with. And like I said, the first thing that you need to always deal with is cognitive, because cognitive will affect your emotions. But most of us did not realize. Most of us selalunya will allow that emotion to conquer us. Faham tak? So we allow ourselves to feel sad, to feel that hey, I cannot do anything about it. So dah tak ada mak ayah, jauh, and then in households tak stable, mak ayah probably tak supportive. A lot of issues. I do understand. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, and probably the condition that you are in. Yeah. So, but always remember, there's always a way out. Okay, if you are always staying in that emotion, memang it's difficult for you to get out. So think about what else can you do. Okay, can you get out? If you are staying near campus or in Penang itself, can you go to the campus? Because I know USM, I know UM. In fact, I know all universities are actually very supportive to allow their students to come in and use the facilities. But I don't know about USM lah. Sekarang whether you allow your students, but I'm sure Anis is in, so everybody else can actually go in lah. So a lot of things can be done. But how do you take charge of the possibilities of things that you could do? So fikirkan tentang what can you do instead of just thinking about alamak tak boleh because I'm here and this. Okay, so remember, it's the perspective. You know, at the beginning of this sharing session tadi, I talked about the perspective. What you see in the slide. So Annie saw books, Annie saw this, and I saw it's just cluttered. Okay, so how you perceived. Okay, so if you know that you can take things, although baby step, but you can do it, just go out, probably if mom and dad allows. Kalau tak allow pun, is there a space that you could actually work and explain to them? Explain to them that, here, I need to do this. Okay, so communication. All right? Yeah, Anis?
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I hope we answered that student's question. So I got another question from Webex.
Okay.
What if someone is having a mental health? What if someone is having mental health issues, is afraid, shy, or couldn't ask for help to go see psychologist? What should he or she do? So this person is afraid and shy to seek help.
Okay, that is why I think what we need to encourage is help-seeking behavior. Okay, what stops you? My question is, what stops you from asking or seeking help? Because you think you are shy? Because you think that, you know, probably people's gonna judge you? Yeah. Again, remember the ends that Charlie ends I just shared? Okay, now people are more open. It's in Malaysia now. Everybody is actually, you know, everybody now understands that mental health are actually badly affected. In the workplace, the banks, okay, they have been calling us to give talks. What else? Yeah, the companies, big companies, they're actually calling us. Most of the counselors, psychologists, they've been called to actually help to, you know, their workers, their employees. Okay, and universities, they know that their students are actually having issues in terms of internet. Like I said, connections ni memang major disruptions. A lot of things are happening, and students, probably families are affected. No income. Okay, and again, I'm gonna ask you this thing: what stops you from seeking help? For you to even ask this question, I think you're very brave. Okay, Alhamdulillah, you're not shy to ask this question. So I hope that you could actually go to, if you don't want your friends to know, you could just go to, you all pun ada student affairs, I think yang deal with, what do you call that, counselling for students. I think you could just go there, book yourself a slot and talk to the counsellor. Because that's when you will achieve catharsis. What is catharsis? Bukan katasis, but catharsis. Catharsis is when you feel that release of emotions that, you know, sometimes the emotion has been embedded in you and you have actually repressed, that's the right word, repressed that emotion far too long. Okay? Okay, these are all defense mechanism. Defense mechanism ada banyak tau. Rationalization. Probably that's also part of rationalization, denial, sublimation, projection, a lot of different types of defense mechanism. Again, my question is, what stops you from being, from transforming from that cocoon earlier to a beautiful butterfly? Okay, what stops you from being you? What stops you from being the best of you? Okay, so I hope that lepas ni, insyaAllah boleh Okay, insyaAllah. Kita doakan sama-sama.
Thank you, Doctor, for the answer. If I may add, if this student is having money issues, based on what I know, they can go to KK and take the SS test, and they will guide you from there.
Okay.
So just for the student to know that there are options and there are free and cheap ones.
Okay, there you go. That at least you know that USM provides this kind of assistance. I think that's wonderful. So Anis have provided information. Dah macam counselor dah provide information. Wonderful. Thank you, Anis.
Okay, thank you. Okay, maybe we can do more questions. Okay,
Sure.
how to get better from burnout other than enough rest? I lose motivation.
Okay, what is your understanding of burnout sebenarnya? What is burnout? What is burnout?
This question is from a student, but if from my understanding, burnout is when you get tired in a period of time. I'm not sure.
Burnout is, remember that curve earlier? That curve, and that is when you already given up. It's not just about demotivated, because that is underloaded. Okay, underloaded with stress and you feel demotivated. But burnout, when you have too much stress, you have reached the optimum, which is good. But then, and after that, it keeps on spiraling down, and that curve, that normal distribution curve, it goes down. And it's actually a form of exhaustion by constantly feeling stress. It's excessive. It's prolonged. Okay. Remember I told you, Capney, you need to remember that, because that's what the simple, the basic things that affects you. That cap. Cognitively, we call mental stress. When you have physical stress, okay, remember cap, cognitive, emotion, and then your behavior, and this will cause apa dia? Physical health will be affected. So this four is actually called total behavior. But for now, just remember cap and physical health. Okay. So prolonged, okay, emotional, physical, and mental stress, and also behavior lah. So basically, this is usually related to a job that you do at work, organization. Okay. And it happens when you're actually overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to keep up with demands of life. In orang kata apa, incessant demands yang banyak sangat, yang non-stop. So when we talk about burnout, it actually isn't a medical diagnosis, yeah? It's not. So what are the symptoms of burnout? So these are the things that have been shown in the slide. I've shared with Anis. Anis can share with all of you. Reduced performance and productivity, like what the student said. So are you actually feeling burnout, or are you actually feeling just stress? And you probably do not, you just feel tired, and so be careful when you define what is it that you are labeling that feeling, yeah? So we want to label that feeling. So is it burnout, or is it just a normal stress, or probably just a little bit of anxiety? So be careful with the word burnout, because when you have experienced burnout, usually, like I said, referring to work or job, yeah, anxiety, productivity, low detachment, memang tak nak campur orang dah. So you want to be on your own. You feel you experience low mood, and you have difficulty concentrating. And the symptoms that you feel is usually fatigue. Fatigue. Okay. So how do you feel? How do you fix burnout sebenarnya? Okay. How do you fix burnout? Okay. How do you fix burnout? I have these 4 steps that you can actually do and understand. So daily protocol. So when I talk about daily protocol, you talk about your activities, list of activities. Your list of activities. Do not sometimes we are I just want to share with you, sometimes we don't realize we are high functioning. We have high functioning anxiety when we do things without realizing that we're tired, and because you are what do you call that, type A personality and task oriented, you tend to do a lot of things until one day you don't realize that you're actually stressed. But people will think that, hey, you are doing good, you are doing okay, but sebenarnya you penat, and sebenarnya you feel that I need to do this, I need to be perfect. That's symptoms of high functioning anxiety. So what you need to do, again, you need to ensure that whatever you do, don't do it and don't burden yourself. Remember about self-care? I talked about self-care tadi. Self-care is very important. Yes, self-care is very important. You need to take, okay, macam saya lah, I realize that, hey, I'm already tired. Okay, I need to go out of campus. So even though I'm on leave today, but I'm still working. But at least I'm in a different setting, although I'm just in this room, but I'm in a different setting. So what can you do? You can recognize what's the signs of burnout, okay? And then what do you do? Manage it. Manage the stress, seeking support, and build your resilience. That's the basic things that I can share with you lah. Reach out to those closest to you. Yes, you feel tired, you feel that as if you're going to procrastinate, and most of us procrastinate. Okay, they will procrastinate. Tetapi, again, it's a choice that you have to make. Because if you've just, okay lah, I'm experiencing burnout, Dr. Aziz kata burnout ni fatigue. Fatigue lah. Biarlah, I enjoy this. Biarlah. No, you realize that, you recognize, okay, and you get out of it. What can you do? Seek help. Okay, so again, be careful. Are you actually experiencing burnout or just stress? Okay, stress.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. We have one last question, Doctor.
Sorry.
Okay, this is a very interesting question that I got. Okay. Is watching pornography considered as a mental issue or illness?
Watching pornography. Okay. How do I address this? Watching pornography. I know that watching pornography is common, among students, okay, and also young adults, because we do conduct research on this, and we realize that students generally, not in UM, when I talk students ni general, memang tengok lah, just to, I don't know, probably it's just a phase of, like, I wouldn't want to say I don't know, but watching a lot of porn is generally not associated with having a mental health issue. Ada yang kata watching a lot of porn can actually cause mental health issues. But the current study has said that learning about the effect on porn on the brain sebenarnya sangat penting. And then when we talk about it has always been linked to poor mental and emotional health to porn use. Okay, you feel that it talks about the brain lah, which I'm not an expert in. Okay, but we wouldn't want to talk about the brains, because that's, again, I'm not an expert of that, but I want to talk about how it can actually cause a person, what are the symptoms? Social isolation, withdrawing from social activity, and you develop a secret life. Okay, secret life, and you lie and you tend to deceive others. And I think social isolation can also include becoming self-centered, and you choose porn over people. And usually this, I wouldn't want to say again mental illness, tapi dia boleh buatkan you experience mood disorders, where you have mood disorder is actually part of it, feeling irritable. You feel angry, you feel depressed, and sometimes you feel so agitated because you can't watch it. You are already hooked to it. You feel powerless when you're actually in relation to porn. Yeah? When you look at the video, you feel powerless. And when you start objectifying people, you sexually objectifying other people. Yang itu yang kita risaukan. When you treat people as sex object. And so this is when you start disrespecting others for privacy, for their safety. So you are actually being insensitive. And then when you look at someone, you imagine, okay? And then you will start engaging in risky and dangerous behaviors. So this is when you start with porn, adult porno, and then lepas tu dirisaukan, you go and assess child abuse imagery. I just want to share with all of you, be careful. We are all be careful because once you go into the sites of child pornography, nanti kalau ada polis ketuk pintu, jangan marah saya. Don't say that Dr. Aziz tak pesan, ya. Okay, because they are actually surveilling. So be careful with that. So just be careful. And I'm worried again, like I said, first started from adult, and then kita tengok pula child abuse image, okay, and then engaging in physically unsafe and harmful sex. You guys, if you are not married, this is when I personally conducted a study on early sexual initiations, the risky behavior, okay, the risky behavior. And what we are concerned about is when you have sexual interest in your actual partner when you get married one day. So if you ask me if it's actually related to mental health disorder, like I said, I'm referring to recent studies. It says that it's not, but it could have actually effects on this mood disorder, social disorder, which is part of mental illness. So be careful there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doctor, for answering the last question. That was indeed a interesting question. I hope people get help because I think it's common nowadays for people to watch and engage in these kinds of activities. So thank you very much, Doctor, for addressing this interesting topic, and thank you for all the questions. I am very sorry that I could not ask all of it, but maybe in the
Anis,
future, yes.
I'm sorry if I can interject sikit because you say it's common for people to actually engage in this. Is that is actually common too. Let's make it uncommon. Let's make it common in the sense that we can actually engage in a more productive kind of community services. If you are active, remember, be active physically, then you don't have time. You feel tired after that, right? So hopefully we do not try to normalize this kind of behavior. I'm sorry, Anis, for interjecting, and thank you so much.
Okay. Yes. I hope everyone listens that. I'm not trying to normalize it, but okay. So I continue. So I'm sorry if I couldn't answer all of the questions. I said there were many, but I tried to answer ask all of them. So on behalf of PBLT Society, we thank you for joining us today. So before we end the session, wait a minute before everyone goes. Let's have a photo session. So we hope you can turn your camera on for a while. Okay, we'll give around a few minutes for you to open your camera.
Cantik berbaju Melayu anak-anak tu.
Yeah. We have a Raya celebration today,
I
Doctor.
see, no wonder.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll start by pages. Okay. I'll give a few more seconds for everyone.
Selamat Hari Raya semua. And who's that with Izzah? Dr. Izzah ke ni? Doktor pun okay.
Okay, is everyone ready? So we'll
Yes.
do the first page first. Okay, first page, pose. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. let's move on to the second page. Dah je. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. Third page. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, smile. Okay. Did we get it, Joe? Okay.
Thank
So,
you so
thank
much.
you, everybody. So, the link for attendance and my CSD will be provided in Webex chats and YouTube. So, as an ending remark, we hope that anyone who is struggling with their mental health will have the courage to seek help and get better. So, as a famous quote goes, just because no one can heal or do your inner work does not mean that you need or should do it alone. So, don't be afraid to reach out for help. And the society and your school always have counselors and talk to your lecturers regarding this issue. So thank you everyone, and thank you again for Dr. Azmawaty. We appreciate your time.
No worries. Bye everybody. Enjoy your Hari Raya.
Bye.
Bye. Assalamualaikum. Selamat Raya.
Happen at JPO.
Okay.
Okay, everyone can. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel. Please, if possible, everyone subscribe it. We have more programs coming soon. So thank you everyone. Give us a few minutes. We will share the link at Webex and the YouTube channel.